Oh, hi. My name is Christine. I just have a quick question. I've been watching some of the convention videos.
Oh, lovely, lovely, Christine.
Yeah, yeah. They're very interesting. Um, I just had a question about one thing that
Yes,
I
ma'am.
saw on I think it was a Friday afternoon one. The guy that was doing the talk said that babies are enemies of God. Did you hear that?
Yeah, yeah.
You
would,
was
would,
it
would
a
you like
joke?
a further? Would you like a further explanation of that?
Yeah, I mean, why is it funny? I mean, I don't get the I don't
Well,
get the funny part. Maybe
well,
you can explain that.
yeah. Well, the reason I'm laughing at is not the statement, but rather the expression. And the reason that's quite humorous because you don't often hear that. I mean, when you actually hear that, it sounds offensive. So I understand where you're coming from. But the reason that the brother stated that it's actually found in a passage in James. Now, and I'll quote it here, Miss Bria. It's found in James in chapter 4, and this is where he actually got that passage from. And I'm going to read it directly from the Bible. Is that okay, Miss?
Sure.
Okay. Here in James chapter 4, this is the one of the friends of Jesus. This is what he said. He says, "Adulteresses, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world is making himself an enemy of God." Now, according to what this passage is indicating, God identifies that the world is his enemy. So because we're born in this world, naturally, sadly, we're enemies of God. Or in other words, we're not yet God's children. However, when we have a friendship with God, that dynamic changes instantly. How can we be able to be friends of God? Well, as mentioned in the following passages, in the same chapter,
Are
he
you
says,
reading something?
no, no, I'm directly
Oh,
talking
I
to
see. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So here in verse 8, how we can develop a friendship with God, he says, draw close to me, and I will draw close to you.
Well, I have one little question about
Yeah, go ahead.
draw close to me and I will draw close to you.
Yes,
Is James explaining how to become a Christian, or is the book of James addressed to Christians?
yes, great question.
Yeah.
Initially, James was talking to Hebrew Christians.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So, draw
yeah,
close to me, is really for Christians. It's not really speaking of justification or how to get forgiveness of sins, which is interesting. But you know what's interesting too about the thing about babies being enemies with God? I've seen other things in I can find things in, it's called the online library,
yes, yes,
that say that babies and young children are innocent until the age of accountability.
correct. Yep,
Okay, so how does that fit together with what being an enemy of God?
great question. Well, let me ask you this, Miss. Knowing that you have a great understanding of the Bible, I can tell. When we're born into this world, what sadly has affected all mankind, regardless.
Right, right. I'm a traditional Protestant, and I've always believed that in the depravity of man, and we're
Yeah,
born in sin. Romans 5 gives lots of descriptive words about that. Besides enemies of God, it does say enemies of God too. Even it's just
right.
talking about
Yeah,
all mankind. So generally, Christians don't really, talk about that in a sense of just targeting babies. We just say mankind, like the Bible
in
does.
general, right?
So that
Yeah,
was very shocking. I think too, it kind of reminds me of their past anti-natalist views about having children, which have been at times actually telling people not to have children. Anyways, so that was kind of surprising. But what they have usually taught is called the age of accountability, and that your parents, I think, faithfulness to the organization will sanctify your children, until they're
correct.
older. Is that so? Is it a new light, do you think?
Well, when it comes to the restoration God has placed for humanity, ma'am, how is that possible to
Well, your literature teaches that you can gain paradise by doing four things, three of them related to the society. Find Jehovah's organization and join it, promote God's kingdom, which really means Watchtower literature, by preaching. They've said by preaching ensures your own salvation. So they do teach the organization, and you have to obey the governing body to have Jehovah's approval. All things I've never actually seen in the Bible. But the point was, I was asking you, is that a new light then? Because previously they've taught that the parents' relationship with the organization makes the children okay.
Well, the reason I ask that
Uh-huh.
is because according to First Peter chapter 2, the Apostle Peter identified how one can enter into God's grace of salvation. He says each one of us must work out our salvation by fear and trembling.
No, it doesn't say work for, it says work out. That work out what you already have by grace alone, through faith alone, which many verses say that in the Bible. But anyway, so can you speak to that? I mean, is this new light or what? I mean, it's a total opposite of what they have taught.
Well, hey, oh, hold on, man. Sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. Thank you. Sorry about that. Someone was coming in the door. But so yes, Miss, when it comes to the salvation you're talking about, when parents inculcate the truth into the heart of their children, each parent is responsible for training their child. However, when it comes to individual salvation, the Bible is very clear. Jehovah God, according to what Jesus Christ has established at John chapter 6, verse 44, he does the drawing. And where does he draw people to? Well, as shown in the first century Christian congregation, it was to his organization.
No, to Christ, to Christ. He draws them
Correct.
to Jesus Christ. But anyways, you keep like saying different things, kind of in a tone like you think you're answering the question. But is that new light what Stephen Lett gave? After all, he is part of the channel on Earth, right?
Correct. So sorry, just to make sure I understand your question, because I want to answer it directly.
Uh huh.
So you're saying, is it new light? Say that again. What's
Well,
new
because
light?
it's a totally different teaching from what they've taught for many decades, that children are sanctified by the parents' course of life or dedication to the watchtower or something like that. If they're good with the watchtower, then the children are good with Jehovah.
Well, who said that, ma'am? Where did you find that reference? I'm just curious.
Oh, that the children are sanctified by what the parents are doing, the faithfulness of the.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can give you references. There's one in an article called "Should Your Baby Be Baptized?" And the reason they're giving against infant baptism is the children are holy in God's eyes, but not by a ceremony, but because of their having a believing father or mother. Another thing they taught was that if you give your baby a blood transfusion, because of
Mm-hmm.
your sin in that, the baby probably won't make it to paradise.
Mm-hmm. So this reference work that you're quoting from, it's from one of our wakes and watchtowers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just just search that topic. I searched the words from Corinthians, but now they are holy, and a couple different
Mm-hmm.
references came up, or age of accountability also, which is what they used to teach.
Correct. Okay. So now that I understand the basis of the article that you researched,
Uh huh.
let me ask you, ma'am, that word sanctification, what does that mean to you?
Okay, I really want to just ask you, is that a new light that now
Yeah.
babies are enemies of God, when
Well,
previously they've said they're okay until a certain age?
right. So the reason I'm going to answer directly, ma'am. So
No,
basically,
no,
you're
you
asking.
keep saying you're going to answer directly, and then you ask me like another question. So, I mean, do
Well,
you think does that strike you as new light, just as a Jehovah's Witness, from what you know of their teachings?
well, we've always been enlightened in time. Obviously, we adjust our teachings based on
Adjust.
what
You
God
say
reveals to us.
what about
But
teaching the total opposite? That's not really called adjust. I don't. I think that's a funny. That's an interesting word to use for that, isn't it? Kind of like messes with your mind, kind of, adjust or refine. Sounds like just a little tweak, but they call
so,
total changes adjustment instead of previous wrong teaching,
so
Think about
have
it.
you ever studied with Jehovah's
I
before?
did.
I'm just curious. How did you get our number?
You're listed as a Kingdom Hall.
Correct, correct. Yes. So did you ever study with Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the length of your study, if you don't mind me asking?
9 months.
There's a reason I'm asking.
9 months.
I'm just curious. You said what?
9 months.
Okay, nice, nice. And did you study with someone here in our Zion community?
No.
Okay, okay. So, ma'am, it looks like you have many questions, and we'll love to
No,
schedule a
really,
time.
I just had that one. But anyways, maybe I'll try somebody else and I can get some clarity on that. But thanks for trying. Okay.
Not a problem.
God bless
Have
you.
a lovely
Uh-huh.